What's up, fam? So I had another huge realization a while ago. It just came to me while I was in the shower. And though it's very similar to my previous video, Minecraft in real life, it is quite different in its own way. So yeah, do you know the video game The Sims? Most of you have probably played it sometime in your life, or at least heard of it. Well, it's kinda weird, I know, but have you ever tried to compare the life of a Sim to your own life? I think I will call this the Sims theory. And here is what I mean. What does a Sim do when you don't tell him what to do? Yes, he's in auto mode. He gets to do whatever he wants at random. Maybe he's watching TV the whole day, or maybe he's sleeping longer than necessary. He doesn't care about the trash in his house, or the piss on his floor. He is just super unproductive. Basically, he is not in control of his life. Maybe that's you. Replace watching TV with Netflix, or replace the trash with socializing, and the piss with, well, I think you get the idea. That's a pretty sad life, I would say. But it doesn't have to be. You can change it. Do you know what's the main difficulty when playing The Sims? I'll tell you. You have to rule your Sims' free will, because the auto mode will only waste their lives. I don't know how you played The Sims, but as for me, I pretty much tortured my Sims every day. I let them read books about cooking, followed by bench presses. Eventually, if I was merciful, I let them take a shit in between. I'd force them to talk to hot singles all day. I made them repair stuff until it worked again, and I didn't care if they got electrocuted or whatever in doing so. The big goal was to make them more skilled, stronger, and better. They didn't live their lives in auto mode anymore. I conquered their free will, because I know what's best for them. Now think about yourself. Are you in control of yourself, or are you in auto mode? Are you doing something that you actually don't want to do? Or are you not doing something that you actually want to do? See, it's all about having self-control. Imagine what life would be if you could turn off the auto mode and rule your mind like the one of the Sim. It's not something you can change overnight. Self-control is a lifestyle, a skill, and an art. It's not something you do just once, but a habit that you can form for the rest of your life. Be conscious and think about it. Everything you do. Make conscious choices rather than doing things without thinking. That is all. So here are a few ways to help you get started. First, identify negative influences and barriers. Start writing down everything that influences you and evaluate if it influences you in a positive way or whether it affects you negatively. Whenever you find a negative influence, try to find possible solutions to help you to reduce the influence or the effects of the influence. Second, avoid the path of least resistance. One thing the path of least resistance is not is a conscious decision. External factors or our subconsciousness will always influence us to make this unconscious decision. Choosing the path of least resistance does not involve the conscious decision-making process, such as evaluating what task needs to be done and trying to figure out what are the possible obstacles which stops you from reaching your goals. Third, make your own decisions. Don't conform to external pressures and false purposes on how we should spend our lives. This form of social programming has led to the delusion that only factors outside of ourselves can make us happy, which is why we try to accumulate tangibles with the purpose of fulfillment. Know that true happiness comes from within yourself and cannot be increased by tangibles or other outside influences. Choose to be happy. And lastly, focus on things that are important in your life and invest time to pursue your most important goals rather than drifting through life on autopilot. Activities that fulfill you, make you happy, and help you to accomplish your goals come to the fore, without being disturbed by the meaningless, non-productive, and time-wasting activities that we do. It's not easy to break out of our routines, to begin to live the lives we want. It takes willful effort, energy, and constant vigilance to think about our choices. But when you're happy with the person you've become, That is always the payoff. And I want to end the video with a quote of a wise man who was aware of all this more than 2,000 years ago. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile.